Breaking news. This just in on the channel. An absolutely shocking move that no one saw coming. The Minnesota Vikings have just made a major addition to their backfield, pulling off a surprising trade that could shake up their entire offensive strategy. And trust me, you're going to want to hear every single detail of this deal because it changes everything. Before we dive into this game-changing move, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications. If you don't, you could miss out on breaking news like this. And believe me, this is the kind of update you need to hear the moment it happens. Alright, here's what just went down. Despite receiving a second-round RFA tender from the 49ers this week, Jordan Mason will not be playing in San Francisco next season. That's because the fourth-year running back has been traded to the Minnesota Vikings, according to his agency, with NFL Network's Ian Rappaport confirming the bombshell move. And it doesn't stop there. As part of this deal, Mason has agreed to a 2-year contract with the Vikings worth up to $12 million, with $7 million guaranteed at signing. That's a strong commitment from Minnesota, showing just how much they believe Mason can be a key piece in their backfield. So what did the Vikings give up to make this happen? Minnesota will send a 2026 sixth-round pick to San Francisco, but that's not all. The two teams are also swapping draft picks number 160 and number 187 in this year's draft. A smart move or a risky gamble? We'll get to that in just a moment. Now, let's talk about why Mason is such a big get for the Vikings. Over his first 2 seasons, he didn't get many opportunities. But in 2024, everything changed. Christian McCaffrey's Achilles issues opened the door, and Mason stepped up in a major way. With 153 carries, 880 total yards, 3 touchdowns, and a strong 5.2 yards per attempt, Mason proved he can be a serious weapon in the running game. At first, it seemed like the 49ers were determined to keep him. They placed a second-round RFA tender, meaning if another team signed him, San Francisco would receive a second-round pick in return. But instead of letting him go for nothing, the 49ers decided to flip him for draft capital. A move that leaves their running back depth chart looking a little thin. On the other hand, this is a huge win for the Vikings. With Aaron Jones coming off a career-best rushing season and recently signing a 2-year, $20 million contract, the team made it clear they wanted to lighten his workload. Jones handled a career-high 306 touches in 2024, and Minnesota doesn't want to run him into the ground. Mason is the perfect complementary back, giving the Vikings another strong option to keep their ground game dangerous all season long. But it wasn't all smooth sailing for Mason last year. A Week 13 ankle sprain ended his season early, and his absence was felt in San Francisco's playoff push. Still, the Vikings clearly believe he's fully recovered and ready to make a major impact alongside Jones. And perhaps the biggest win for Mason? Security. Instead of hitting free agency in 2026, he now has a multi-year deal with more guaranteed money than he would have received from the 49ers next season. So now, the big question. Did the Vikings make the right move? Will Mason be a key piece of the offense? Or should they have looked elsewhere for RB depth? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And before you go, make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on. We've got more major Vikings news coming your way, and you do not want to miss it. Stay tuned.